Welcome back, guys. It is a championship racing once again here at SARCO. We're in the Formula C for round 2 of our championship, proudly brought to us by Thrustmaster. The Sonoma Raceway National track puts us with 2 races of 12 laps, with each race being determined by a 1-lap flying qualifier. Sit back and enjoy the highlights of both race 1 and 2 here in lobby 1. Alright guys, so we move on to race number 1 here in the Formula C round number 2. If we look in 12th position, we have Bruno. He's in car number 68 for Silverback Racing. Alongside him we have Ash in car number 9 for the Cape Town Boys. Moving forward to row number 9, in car number 33 is Andrew for the Green Mumbers, and he is alongside the driver in car number 59, that is Ronaldo for Shake and Bake. Row number 4, Dylan, he's representing the Black Mumbers. He's in car number 34, and he lines up against the Project Cat Racing's Ross in car number 3. Car number 42 is Gerard for Tosco 2. He's currently in 6th place, and he lines up against the TTR driver Jacques in car number 43. Row number 2, Jacques' teammate Duppy for TTR, he's in car number 42 in 4th place, and he lines up against the other Black Mamba driver Jakes in car number 34. Then the front row is a full Tosco affair. The 2 number 30s, Durkee, he's in 2nd place, and Scholl in pole position. As we wait for the green lights, flames away. It is green lights and off we go. Jakes has had a great start, so has Durkee. Durkee moves ahead of Scholl as they prepare to go up into turn number 1. Jakes has a look around the outside. Well, there's Duppy, he's gone a little bit wide coming into turn number 2. Down the hill into turn 3, back up into turn 3A. Jakes is a little bit wide, that's allowed Gerard to move onto the inside. That's Jacques, he's had a great start. Oh, a little nudge there on the back of Dylan by Bruno. Unfortunately, it sends Dylan off. But up over the hill, down into turn number 6. Turn in, add power, and just hang on. On board with the 3rd place driver, Gerard. It is currently a Tosco 1 in 1st and 2nd, Tosco 2. He is up into 3rd place. We look back and there's Jakes right in his rearview mirror as they go through turns 8 and then turns 8A. Hard into this braking zone. Well, Durkee has a little look on the inside. He's run himself very late on that braking. He'll have to move over, otherwise he will get a slowdown penalty. That's going to allow Gerard to go over. Durkee defends his line, a little tag on the back of Gerard. Not sure what happened there. So just jumping in the cockpit of Jakes, we see that as Durkee moves across, I think that spooks Gerard a bit. Gerard touches the brakes a little bit earlier. Jakes was right up behind him, and that unfortunately put Jakes into the back of Gerard. In shot, that is Jacques for TTR. He's currently in 5th place as they come across the line to begin their 2nd lap. There's a limping Gerard and a limping Jakes. So Jacques, he now moves himself up into 3rd place. We jump a little bit further back and we see Ross, he's starting to put pressure here on Jakes. Jakes currently in 4th place. So Jacques seems to have gone a little bit deep, a little oversteer there by Gerard. I think he's suffering a little bit of that rear downforce. Bruno has gone around Gerard, and so has Dylan. Down into turn number 6, Jakes has gone wide. Oh, that's Ross losing the rear. Bruno, he's now gone through. Dylan's gone through. Jakes, he's now joined the track behind Gerard. And Ross, he too now back on the track, but he's down in 11th position. Jump to the front of the pack and our race leader Scholl. As he comes through turn 9A, we look at the positions. Scholl leads with Durkee 2nd. Jacques is in 3rd place with Bruno 4th. That's Dylan, he's moved up into 5th with Duppy 6th. Jakes is 7th. Ross, he's down in 8th place with Andrew 9th, Gerard in 10th, Ronaldo 11th, and Ash in 12th position. So the 6th place driver, that is Duppy, he's chasing Dylan. Dylan is currently in 5th place. Dylan's really struggling with that rear of their car after the little tag that he had on lap number 1 going into turn 4. Duppy's definitely looking a lot smoother through this infield section. Duppy running a little bit wide there coming out of turn 4. You do have to be quite careful. There is a little bump, and that can unstabilize that car as you get that power on. Big power slide there for Dylan coming out of turn 6. Duppy's getting right on the rear. Will he have a look on the inside? No, he doesn't. The guys going through a 7A, where normally in some of the other formats, remember we are on the Sonoma National circuit. There are a few variants of this track, but now we actually keep to the left hand side. We don't go through the S's. Then hard on the brakes into this little chicane section in turn 9A. Around a turn 10, and then quickly on the brakes into turn 11. Duppy's really starting to close that gap, really putting pressure on Dylan here. Duppy's got a great drive coming out of that 11A across the line to begin the lap at number 4. Through turn 1. Big power slide there for Dylan once again. Really is struggling with that car. But Duppy, he continues to apply the pressure. That's it. Dylan's lost the rear. Duppy, he goes past, Ross goes past, and there goes Jacques. Further up the field, in shot is Durkee, currently in 3rd place. Jacques has managed to get around him, but Durkee is not giving up this challenge through turns 8A. Onto the little back straight section. Will Durkee have a look on the inside? No, he doesn't. Gets right up behind Jacques, tucks in behind that rear wing. Well, Jacques run wide, he's put himself on the dirt. That's allowed Durkee to go around the outside quite easily. So Durkee moves back up into 2nd place, and Jacques down into 3rd. To begin lap number 5, in shot is Bruno, currently in 4th. That was Duppy in 5th, and Ross, car number 3, in 6th place. Up over the hill, down into turn number 3. So it was on this corner where Dylan lost the rear that allowed Duppy and Ross to go through. But Duppy's really starting to put pressure here on Bruno. Must be wondering whether Bruno has a little bit of front downforce. Well, that was extremely close by Duppy. He had to take some evasive driving. You can see how he's dropped back, and that's also made Ross lose some of his momentum. Into turn 7. Then past the first exit, past the second exit, then into the latest one, into 7A. So Bruno leads this battle with Duppy behind him. Then is Ross. Then in the other blue car, that is Gerard. Unfortunately, Duppy is in the wrong mirrored color. Round turn number 10. Very tricky braking zone, and to get that power on is quite tricky as well, because the hairpin in that corner is extremely sharp. We'll bring up the times to see how the guys are having a little. Duppy's going around the outside of Bruno, but not fast enough to actually make an attack. But Ross has now moved himself right up behind the back of Duppy. So lap number 6, the positions. Charles leads with Durkee in 2nd. This is Jacques in 3rd, with Bruno currently in picture in 4th. Duppy is 5th with Ross in 6th. Jakes is 7th with Ronaldo in 8th. Ash 9th. Gerard in 10th place. 11th place is Andrew and Dylan down in 12th position. Great move there by Badupi. He's put himself on the outside. Will he be able to go around the outside of Bruno? Yes, he does, very easily in the end there. A great move there by Dupi. He's now moved himself up into 4th place. So I just wanted to go back because Ross was very much in that challenge, and for some reason we lost him. But we see him coming out of turn 6, put himself straight into the wall. And then we see him limping himself back into the pits with just 3 wheels. So exiting out of the last corner in shot, we have Ronaldo driving with Shake and Bake, one of the new teams we have for the season here in 2019. Ronaldo, he leaves his privateer status and teams up with Steven. Steven is currently driving in a lobby number 2, but Ronaldo really doing well here for his team. In the back there, that is our race leader, Scholl. Scholl running a little bit wide there, coming out of turn number 3A. Ronaldo just moving over, allowing the race leader to go through. Jump into the pits and the Project Cat Racing. Car number 3, that is Ross. I'm sure he's looking forward to having a little bit more control in 4 wheels as opposed to 3. So we currently jump to 4th place driver Dupi. That's Bruno behind him. This is currently the closest battle. Well, Dupi's got onto the curb. That's unfortunately unstabilized the car. He's put himself into the wall. That's allowed Bruno to move himself up into 4th place. Dupi still has his wheels, so he's definitely still going, but I do believe that he would have a lot of damage on this car. As you can see, he tried to turn in, and that just threw the car up onto the curb. That's Dupi going into the pits. Just want to see who was currently behind him. Let's jump to Jakes. So Jakes is now coming through turn 7 and 7A. We just seen the other Black Mamba driver Dylan going past, about to be lapped by his teammate in shot Jakes. Just keeping in mind that Dupi has gone to the pits. Just want to see whether Jakes will be able to get ahead of Dupi. Just bring up the current times and the standings. Round 11A, and that means Jakes, he now moves up into 5th place. Dupi's now dropped down to 4th. Just want to see where Ronaldo is on track. Ronaldo, he's coming through the chicane in turn 9A. Will he be able to get himself ahead of Dupi? Run the last corner. So Dupi is leaving the pits. There comes Ronaldo around turn number 1. So he now has moved himself up into 6th place ahead of Dupi. Currently a lap number 8 of 12 here, race number 1 in our Formula C Championship. So our current race leader Scholl crosses the line to begin a lap number 10, and we jump on board for a tour through turn number 1. Up over the hill, tricky little corner, as you can see that how it just falls away from you as you come up over that hill. Then down the dip into turn number 3. Back up over the hill with another corner with a reverse camber that falls away. Hard on the brakes into turn 4. There's the little jump with where the track connects out of turn 4 here into turn number 5. Up over the little hill, just past 25 meters onto the brakes, turn in, accelerate down turn number 6. Hang on for dear life because this corner does tend to go on and on. Caution not to run too wide to lose the grip because that can throw into the wall on the left hand side. Hold on the brakes here, turn number 7. Down into 2nd gear. Allow the car to coast around 7A. Straighten out as much power as possible. Want to clip the inside here, straighten up early, a short shift into 5th. Then there was a right hand through turn 8, then hard on the brakes here into a 9. Little tricky section there, want to get right as quickly as possible. Then hard on the brakes here, about 75 meters down into 1st gear, turn in, straighten out, maximum power. And across the line to begin a lap and number 11. So a few meters further down, this is 6th and 7th place. Oh, Ronaldo's gone a little bit wide. That's allowed Dupi up through the inside. Ronaldo will tuck in behind Dupi. They now cross the line to begin their 11th lap. Oh, Dupi has gone wide onto the sand. Oh, that was extremely close. I thought Dupi was definitely on the trajectory to take out Ronaldo there. Ronaldo really cutting that corner on 3A. Positions 12 and 11. Dylan currently in 12th place. He's chasing Ash coming out of turn 7A. Here through turn 8. Dylan getting a little bit sideways there as he got that power through turn 8A into the braking zone. Little lock up there by Ash. Dylan moves to the inside. He squeezes himself through, and that will now move Dylan up into 11th place and Ash down into 12th. Race leader Charles brakes for the last time here in turn number 11A. Back on the power. He will cross the line to win here a race number 1 with his teammate Dirkie in 2nd place. Jacques for TTR will come home in 3rd with Bruno for Silverback Racing in 4th. Jakes the Black Mamba will come home in 5th with Ronaldo for Shake and Bake in 6th. Dupi, Jacques a teammate in 7th with Gerard from Tosco 2 in 8th. Project Cats Racing Ross, he comes home in 9th with the Green Mamba of Andrew in 10th. Black Mamba Dylan, he will finish in 11th with Ash for the Cape Town boys down in 12th position. Thank you guys. Now we move on to a race number 2. Once again a 1 lap flyer, and we go into 12 laps. Now that the 1 lap flyers are complete, we're able to take a look at the starting lineup. In 12th place is Andrew Carr, number 33 for the Green Mambas. Alongside him is Ash in car number 9. Ash is in 11th place for the Cape Town boys. Row number 5 in 10th place is Jacques. He's in car number 43 for a TTR, and he's alongside a Shake and Bake driver. That's Ronaldo in a car number 59. Row number 4 and Ross in car number 3 for Project Cat Racing. He's currently lying in 8th place, and he's alongside the Black Mamba driver in car number 34. That is Dylan. We move to a row number 3. In 6th place is Gerard in car number 42. He's driving for Tosco number 2, and he's alongside a Dupi for TTR in 5th place, car number 42. We move up to a row number 2, and in 4th place is a Dirkie, car number 34, Tosco 1, and he lines up against the other Black Mamba. That's Jakes in car number 34. Row number 1 and a Bruno, he moves himself up the grid. He's in a 2nd place in car number 68 for Silverback Racing, and he lines up against Charles, the pole sitter once again, car number 30 for Tosco 1. So we wait for the starting lineup here. Race number 2 in shot. This is the 4th place, Dirkie, green lights, and away we go. Charles leads with Jake 2nd. That's Bruno 3rd. Dirkie is currently 4th. That looked like either Gerard or Dupi going around the outside there. Coming down into a turn. Another 3. All this contact between some cars there. We'll definitely go back and have a look to see what happened. Well, that was Dirkie taking a very off-road route as he came into turn number 4. And we definitely see that there has been some carnage. A big gap between the next driver after the 4th place driver. So we pick up this action coming out of turn number 2. We see the Tosco 2 driver Gerard getting a little bit of an oversteer. That puts Ross into a position where he has to move over to allow Gerard to come back onto the track. Unfortunately, Dupi starts straightening his line for turn number 3. That puts Ross back into Gerard. Gerard pushing Ross back into Dupi. We see the Black Mamba driver Dylan. He is trying to go around the outside, but that puts Dylan into Ross. Jacques tries to avoid. That is Ronaldo in car number 59, and unfortunately he connects him there. There's Ash on the outside, and we see Andrew going through unscathed. So back to our leader Charles coming through turn number 6. So Charles leads with Bruno second, Jakes in a very close third place. There was a major incident with a total of 6 cars involved in the contact. Charles coming through turn number 7A. Charles having won the first race. Great shots of the drivers coming through turn number 8. Then here into turn 8A. Charles running a little bit wide on the exit of turn number 9A there, but sorting himself out through turn number 10. Then a little bit of a power slide going through turn number 11A. And back to across the line to begin lap number 2. We once again find Ross on the circuit with only 3 wheels. Ross doing everything he can to try and get back to the pits, but unfortunately, as you can see, missing a left rear wheel. Definitely not easy to drive a car that way. So in shot is the 6th place driver Andrew, definitely the biggest gainer from the incident coming into turn number 2. Andrew, having started 12th on the grid, finds himself 6th, and just behind him is Ash as well as Ronaldo. So while we're catching up the action, let's bring up the positions. So Charles leads with Bruno second, Jakes is third, Dirkie is in fourth with Gerard in fifth, Andrew 6th, Ash 7th, Ronaldo 8th, Jacques in 9th place, Dylan he's down in 10th, Dupi 11th, and Ross in 12th position, trying very hard to get back to the pits to get a wheel placed once again. So we'll jump on board with Ronaldo as they come out of turn 11A. Ronaldo tucking right up behind Ash. Just want to see if he'll try go around the outside here into turn number 2. So will he tighten up into 1? Yes, he does. Will he have a look around the outside? Ash covering that outside line very well. Down the dip into turn number 3. Great drive there for Ronaldo. Ash squeezes him on that outside. Back down the hill, coming out of turn number 5. Back over this little crest, hard on the brakes, 25 meters, turning in. Turn number 6, power on. We see a Ross on the outside, side by side for both Ronaldo and for Ash into this braking zone. But Ash will hold that place going into turn number 7. That is Jacques, who's now starting to put pressure on the rear of Ronaldo, with Andrew leading this battle. Oh, there's Ash, who's touched that outside dirt. Unfortunately, that's not going to end well for him. Jacques running a little bit deep for himself, out braking and going into the hairpin there, turn number 9. Ronaldo hot on the heels of Andrew when he looks to the inside here, turn number 11. He squeezes himself through, but it looks like he might have run a little bit wide, taking a cone with him. That allows Jacques right up alongside him. Jacques is side by side with Andrew going into turn number 1. up into turn number 2. Ronaldo has a little dive on the inside. Great overtaking move there by Ronaldo. Andrew then slots behind. We see that is Ross's wheel still on the side of the track there. There's Ash starting to make his comeback with his guys having been battling it out. It seems that Ash actually didn't lose too much. He might have just had a spin, didn't necessarily put it into the wall. But Ronaldo really fighting hard. That looked like Ash running very wide coming out of turn number 6. There's a great drive here by both Jacques and by Ronaldo. Great close quarter racing without any incidences. Really awesome to watch. Race leader Charles will cross the line to begin a lap at number 5. We'll take a quick look at the positions. So Charles leads with Bruno second, Jakes is third. Dirkie is fourth with Gerard in fifth. Jacques has moved himself back up to 6th place with Ronaldo in 7th. Andrew down to 8th from 6th. Ash, he's in 9th place with Dupi 10th, Dylan 11th, and Ross in 12th place. But we come back to this fight for a 6th and 7th position. Ronaldo is just not letting Jacques get away from him. There's Andrew in the background. You can see he's starting to lose pace onto these guys. Well, that looked like it was either Gerard or Dupi. Let's just bring up the points. Yes, that was Gerard. So both Jacques and Ronaldo have moved ahead of Gerard. He must have had a spin there going up through turn number 3A. So I'm just wondering if Gerard will have any damage on that car. That we do know that the wings on this car are like butter. Any slightest touch with the wall or any other driver and you lose your downforce. Through turns number 8 and now through onto 8A. Great braking there for Ronaldo, is really looking comfortable in this car. Jacques ran a little bit wide exiting out of turn 9A. A little bit deep there for Ronaldo. I'm sure that's going to allow Gerard to start closing that gap on him now. Saw Gerard there in the background. He's starting to close down this gap. Just want to bring up the times just so that we can see the last lap times. You can see Ronaldo and Jacques doing a very similar times, and Gerard with a 1:46, so he unfortunately losing 10 seconds on that lap. Oh, there's Ronaldo going extremely wide coming out of turn number 2. He'll have to get out of the way, so Gerard will go past him as well as Andrew. So we pick up the action coming near the end of lap number 7. And we see there's Andrew, just behind him is Dupi. Unfortunately, Dupi is a lap behind. Just behind Dupi is Ronaldo. Behind Ronaldo is Gerard. So we'll chase this action coming up through turn number 1. Then in this off-camber turn number 2, Andrew runs very wide. Gerard rejoins the track ahead of Andrew, but there's Ronaldo going around the outside. Great move there, very dangerous I would say, especially going through turn number 3. But Ronaldo made that move stick. Andrew realized that he was going for the move, and Andrew, lots of respect and understanding that he would be there, gave Ronaldo the space that he needed. Well, Andrew running a very wide coming into turn 6, but he manages to hold it back onto the track. In the background there we see that is Ash, and right behind Ash is Dylan. Big power slide there for Dylan coming through turn number 7. Ash making it very difficult for Andrew into this tricky braking zone in turn number 9A. Dylan tightens his line coming through the last of the chicane wall. There goes Ash, but Ash will rejoin the track. Dylan and now behind his stable partner. We see the black lines of Ross trying to get himself back into the pits. Much tighter line there for Dylan as he tucks in behind Andrew. Dylan looks for the inside coming through turn number 1. Andrew sees him coming and I think just let him go. So Dylan will get himself around both Ash and Andrew, but unfortunately he is still a lap behind. Big moment there for Dylan, touching that inside curb coming through turn 3A, but holds it together. So we jump behind our third place driver. This is currently Jakes. Ahead of Jakes we can see the car 68 of Bruno. So a very quiet race for these 3 front runners. We're on a lap number 9 and Scholl, he still leads with Bruno in second, Jakes is third. Durkee is very secure there in 4th place with Jacques in 5th. Gerard is 6th with Ronaldo in 7th, Andrews 8th, Ash in 9th place, Duppy 10th, Dylan in 11th place and Ross down in 12th position. But while it's quiet up in the front, it is definitely hot and heated down in positions 7 and 8. Ash will not let Andrew get away that easily, coming through turn number 2. Andrew seems to have run a little bit wide, but he's managed to stay ahead of Ash. Will Ash go around the outside as Ronaldo did? No, he doesn't. But Andrew tightens that line that forces Ash a little bit wide into turn number 4. Down the hill into turn 5, then back over the little crest, hard onto the brakes. 25-meter mark, turning in, trying to get that power on as soon as possible and just hang on. Ash does seem to have lost some of that momentum he was making up on Andrew, coming through the back section of the track in turn 7 and then through turn 7A, through these S sections of turn 8, and then straighten out onto turn 8A. Chicane. Turn 9. Well, Ash, little luck up there for Ash. You can see he went very deep into that corner. So that would have allowed Andrew to extend his lead by a couple of tenths of a second. But Andrew just have to keep his head down. And Ash, he will have to really fight hard now to try and catch back up the time that he has lost. It's been a very quiet race for the 4th place, the Durkee. Him coming into turn 9A with a chicane. Great exit there for him. Stayed off the dirt on the outside. He'll come across turn number 10, hard, difficult braking zone, turn 11. And he'll then across the line to begin a lap number 11. It's good to see the Project Cat Racing's Ross. He has all 4 wheels back on his car. Taking a little bit too much curb on the inside of turn 7 there. But talk about the little engine that could. Ross fought to get that car back, so at least he gets some lap time. And he is looking a lot more comfortable on 4 wheels as opposed to 3. So on board with our race leader Scholl, coming through turn 11A for the last time. Scholl will cross the line as a double winner here at Sonoma. Bruno, he will come home in 2nd place with Jakes in 3rd. Durkee will finish in 4th place with Gerard in 5th. Jacques in 6th place, Ronaldo in 7th, Andrew 8th, Duppy 9th, Dylan down in 10th place with Ash 11th and Ross in 12th position. Thank you guys, I hope you enjoyed watching this replay of round number 2 of our Formula C Championship, proudly brought to us by Thrustmaster. If you did like this video, please give the video a like, subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to hit that notification icon to be notified of any new live streams or replays that have been updated. If you want to find out more about our racing, check out our website, look us up on Facebook, or come and join us in our conversations on Discord. All the details are in the description below. We'll see you again in 2 weeks' time for round number 3. Thanks for watching, yos.